Hello everyone and welcome back to This Day in History, our nightly look back at a specific day in history, where we take a look back at the events of a day, the historic context in which they took place, and the historic ramifications. As always, if you have not yet, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell notification icon to be alerted anytime I post new content. And tell a friend. And without any further ado, this day in history, June 22nd. And on this day, in 1944, Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed the last major New Deal initiative, officially called the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944. The bill hoped to avoid a relapse into the Great Depression after the war ended. The American Legion had fought for many provisions in the bill, which gave returning servicemen access to unemployment compensation, low-interest home and business loans, and most importantly, funding for education. By giving veterans money for tuition, living expenses, books, supplies, and equipment, the GI Bill effectively transformed higher education in America. Prior to the war, college had been an option for only 10 to 15% of young Americans, and university campuses had become known as a haven for the most privileged classes. By 1947, vets made up half of the nation's college enrollment. 3 years later, nearly 500,000 Americans graduated from college, compared to 160,000 in 1939. So as you can see, this bill's effects were rapid, quick, and decisive. And this bill helped lift more Americans out of poverty and into the middle class. And it also helped fuel the boom period which America would experience after the war. This bill ensured that those Americans that returned from the battlefields of Europe and Japan would land in successful careers. This bill's economic, political, and social effects are still felt to this day. It is one of the single greatest accomplishments of the New Deal and one of the most long-lasting and far-reaching in its goals and its success. It is a proof positive that often government does a good job with programs that sets out to lift people out of poverty, despite what you might hear in some quarters. This bill, the GI Bill, is, in my opinion, one of the greatest pieces of legislation this country's ever signed. It's right up there with all of the other great acts. And it was signed on this day in 1944 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I hope y'all all have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.